And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Atlanta Hawks halftime show on the Atlanta Teen Sports Center. I'm Blake Newsom, along with my co-host Jordan Ashley. And Jordan, what are your thoughts on the Hawks in the first half?
Oh man, we're playing great. We're playing great team ball. Nice rebounding. Dwight Howard on the offensive boards, and then you got Torian Prince, young rookie out of Baylor, having a nice night versus Boston. We've been containing Isaiah Thomas.
I mean, the Celtics really had many open shots here in the early first quarter, weren't able to get them. So let's go ahead and get into the stats of the first half. And Jordan, you start with the Celtics.
Yeah, right now the Celtics have been they've been running up and down the court, and you got their leaders in points. You got Jay Crowder with 15, you got Isaiah Thomas with 16, Kelly Olynyk with 2, only 2, Marcus Smart with 9, Jaylen Brown with 3, and the rest is bench. We've been containing Al Horford. He has 0
points, only 1 rebound.
0. Yeah, he has not been a factor so far in this game, which for the Hawks is a big thing.
And this is what we said in the pregame show, will the crowd be a factor to him? So far it is. Hopefully it'll continue to be. And I got the Hawks statistics. Ersan Ilyasova with 5 points, 2 rebounds, no steals, no blocks. Torian Prince from rookie from Baylor with 18 points, 4 rebounds in the first half. Howard with 2 and 4. Schroeder with 13. Hardaway with 13 points, 3 rebounds. Schroeder 5 points. Bazemore 9 points. Millsap 12 points, 7 rebounds. And so yeah, pretty good. And this lead is gone up and down for the Hawks, back and forth pretty much the whole first half. They'd get up to 10 or 8, 9, 10 points, and then Celtics would come right back with a run of their own and cut it 2-1 or tie it up. So what are your thoughts on how the Hawks are able to keep the lead at a certain point, Jordan?
The Hawks, they are, like we were saying, we always say this, is they're up and down team, especially in games. We get tired. With the injuries that we have, you can expect us to not blow a team out like this, but we're winning by 16, man. And for us to be doing what we're doing, for us to be up by 10 and be 2, and then 7, and then 3, and then you got it up to 16 is big, man.
I just want to say this, everybody, because I know halftime is getting close to over. We got a late start on this halftime show. We're going to go ahead and pause it when the halftime is over and the third quarter starts, and you can hear us at postgame. So if you're hearing the postgame show and you're like, why are they talking halftime? Just pause it and skip to the next segment. I just want to say that. So Jordan, what are the Celtics' keys to be able to get themselves back in this game?
One thing Celtics are going to need to do, they're going to need even more production from Isaiah. He has 16 minutes, 16 points, and they really need him. They can't rely on people like Amir Johnson, Jay Crowder, and Avery Bradley, and Marcus Smart. Can't rely on them. They're not at the level of Isaiah Thomas
or Kelly Olynyk.
It's a big problem.
So keep going.
Yeah, I'm done.
And what are your keys to the Hawks being able to stretch this lead anymore until it's really no comeback chance slims to 0?
The Hawks just need to keep it up, man. Give it inside. Give it inside. Let Torian Prince work Al Horford. Let him work him up, and then you gotta get it into the white. Yeah, you gotta put in Millsap. He's some production at least, and Bazemore, and we just gotta hit them perimeter shots like we all had in the first half.
I think we need to get some more production from Schroeder out there. Calderon has come in a little bit to help out, but Schroeder with only 5 points, no rebounds, which is he usually gets at least a few a game. I think Schroeder needs to drive inside a little bit more. You haven't really seen him do much tonight. I was watching at dinner, and he's just driving the ball out to the free throw line. He'll kick it out. He needs to drive on Isaiah Thomas, which he's done well on in the past. Go up to Al Horford, who he knows very well, and slip it right by him. And the Hawks haven't really done that much. So more production from Schroeder, I say, and I think this victory is coming our way.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. We're about running out of time here on the halftime show. Don't want to go into the third quarter at all. So, Jordan, thank you for just tuning in. I'm going to pause this, guys, and make sure if you're just here for the post game or for the halftime, just skip to the next segment if you don't want to see the halftime, and we'll see you after the game on the same show. So, Jordan, I'll see you in a little while, and let's go Hawks. Let's get the dub. And welcome back, everybody. I know that was like a little brief millisecond, but you just jumped about an hour ahead from the halftime to the post game. And I'm Blake Newsom, your host, along with my co-hosts, as it said co-host. So we have Connor Quinn joining us as well, along with Jordan Ashley from pregame and halftime show. So the Hawks get the dub over the Celtics tonight, and a big win for the Hawks, 123-116, to keep themselves in the playoff race and knock Boston another game away from Cleveland. And Jordan, what are your thoughts on how the Hawks performed in the second half?
Man, we played exactly the same like we played in the first half. We had energy. We came in. We drove. We passed the ball around to create them open shots, and we contained Isaiah Thomas from having as well as he had a not so good of a first quarter too.
Connor, what are your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was a really good game and a very big win for the Hawks because this could be another playoff matchup just like last year when the Hawks won, but I think the Celtics are a lot more of an improved team. But the Hawks showed it tonight that they have their number. And I have some summary of the game. The leading scorers for the Boston Celtics, Isaiah Thomas, had 35 points. He shot 10 of 21 from the field, and he shot 11 of 13 from the free throw line. And for your Atlanta Hawks, Paul Millsap had 26 points, 8 of 15 from the field, and 9 of 12 shooting free throws.
How many rebounds did Millsap have?
Millsap had he had 12 rebounds.
So that's a double-double, right?
Wow.
Double-double.
Yeah. And Tim Hardaway led the way for assists. He had 5.
And then Hardaway and Prince also had 20-point games, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So, moving on, Jordan, take it away with what you have pulled up.
Right now, in the Western Conference, I have a battle for that last spot, but Minnesota's not really in it. 26-18 Minnesota first.
And I'm watching it.
44 left to go.
I'm watching that right now as I'm looking away. It's 26-18 with Minnesota with the ball bringing it up the court.
Yeah, they're leading Portland, but they've already been eliminated from playoff contention.
Which is sad because Minnesota is a really young team. So there's a lot of young teams out there that just aren't good enough yet. It'll be amazing to see 3 or 5 years how even this NBA is going to get, despite the Cavaliers and the
Very
Warriors.
interesting, yeah. And you got the Boston Celtics, who are an up-and-coming team. You got also the Toronto Raptors, of course, who have been pretty stellar the past few years, and the Washington Wizards. And hopefully soon our own Atlanta Hawks will meet the goals in the next few years.
And I also have some finals here. In Philadelphia, Chicago beats the 76ers 102-90 to keep their playoff hopes alive. Brooklyn loses to Orlando in Orlando 115-107. Indiana hoping to keep their playoff hopes alive. They get in a big win against Milwaukee 104-89. And then Knicks come in Madison Square Garden, lose 103-106, and then the Hawks win.
So that keeps the Celtics are now dropping 2 games out of first place. That will move the Raptors 1 tonight, correct?
Yeah.
The Raptors.
Yep. I put the Raptors back in 1.5, and then they'll be back 2 from first.
Wow. And the Wizards, what'd they do?
The Wizards, they won in New York 106-103.
And with the Hawks winning over the Boston Celtics, puts them at 40-38 over the year. 40-38 over the year. 3-7 of their last 10. Not too hot.
And they're in the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference.
That's true. The Bucks with the loss. Sorry, keep going.
Go ahead, Blake. I'm sorry.
Okay. The Bucks, with the loss tonight, have the Hawks tied for 5th and 5th place, but with the win, we'll have to see how the tiebreaker bumps. With the Bulls and Pacers winning, it'll keep it interesting. The Heat, did they win or lose, Jordan? Heat.
The Heat, they came in and they Heat to the finals. I don't think right now they did not play today.
Okay, so they're right in the race too, because they are half a game out of 8th place behind the Pacers. So it'll be interesting to see who from a few years the top 2 teams in the East battling for a playoff spot in the 8th and 9th place. And then moving on for the rest of the Hawks schedule for the year after the win, 123 to 116 over the Boston Celtics tonight. Closer game than we expected it to end up being. After being a 20-point lead in the third quarter, they go up to Cleveland tomorrow night for a big matchup with LeBron and company. Before coming right down to Atlanta, on the 9th.
On Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday to play LeBron and company at home. And then 92-9 the game night in Atlanta, the 11th, as Kemba Walker, Marvin Williams, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and the Charlotte Hornets come to town. And then to end the year, the Hawks go on a back-to-back to go see Jeff Teague, PG-13, and the Pacers to end the season. So how do you think this Hawks group is going to have to pull together some strong wins to be able to be on the good side of the bracket, a.k.a. Boston side, and have a good seed to be able to do more with the playoffs? Your thoughts, Connor?
Well, I think that they have the way they showed tonight. How they could play is outstanding. Paul Millsap had a great game, being the leading scorer with 26 points, and I think Ken Bazemore had a pretty good game too. I know you guys. I don't know if you guys noticed because I was listening to it on the radio on my way back from the airport, and apparently when Paul Millsap he fouled, I can't remember who it was.
Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder, and 2 Celtics players came off the bench, and they were arguing with Millsap, and the refs missed it, which should have been an automatic ejection plus a suspension. But the refs, they only went to replay, and then Coach Bud was holding up 2 fingers to say that 2 players came off the bench for Boston, and they didn't look at it. They just looked at to see if there was a common foul or a flagrant foul.
Well, now that you realize that, I think that was and Jay can't join, by the way, guys, but I think that was a different foul you're talking about. I thought you were talking about when the fast break, Jay Crowder got a steal, and Paul Millsap had to have a hard foul against him. So he had to foul Jay Crowder, and he shook his hand and picked him up like a good sport because he just didn't want to give him away 2 points. But that was another good foul by Millsap and showed good sportsmanship after it. And my Atlanta Hawk player of the game is the one and only Paul Millsap with 26 points, 12 rebounds, and how many assists did he have, Connor?
Let me check real quick. I'm sorry, I went off of that.
That's fine.
Let's see. Who were you talking about?
Assist
again? I'm sorry.
Paul Millsap. I said my
assist.
Yes.
It doesn't say on here. The leading scorer was Tim Hardaway with 5, but I can check on with that if you guys can continue.
So I said my Atlanta Hawks player of the game is Paul Millsap with 26 points, 12 rebounds coming off the bench after an injury. Had a great performance, played against his brother, Al Horford, with a great intensity. And Jordan, who's your Hawks player of the game? Somebody different, or is it Paul as well?
You know what? What I've seen tonight and what I definitely seen in the first half, I have to go with Taurean Prince.
That was my second choice. Keep going.
And Taurean, he came in and he played hard, and whenever you play hard, you earn whatever you get. And he came in, he scored 20, and he had multiple assists with multiple rebounds. He came in, he contributed because you ain't got Tavo Santosha and Kent Bazemore up there, so you had to contribute some way. And he came out there and he played hard.
And my correction from pregame show, I said Paul Millsap was out tonight. I was when I went to the full injury report, I had Millsap on there, so that was an error on their part. So my mistake, and website, I can't remember which website I was on, but their mistake. Sorry that I said Millsap was out, but he was in and had a great game. My mistake, everybody. And Hawks got the dub tonight, 123-116. You're listening to the...
I found out, sorry to interrupt, but I found out how many assists Palmas had. He had 4 assists.
All right. Well...
Yeah, go ahead and continue. Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you guys for sticking around here on the post-game show. You're listening to the Atlanta Teen Sports Center, and we'll go take a break. We'll be right back after this. Hold on, guys. Choosing a song.
But we're taking a break.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. Cause we've done this before, so you come on in. Make yourself at my home, tell me where you been. Pour yourself something cold, baby, cheers to this. Sometimes you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house, play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Morning comes and you know that you wanna stay. Close the blinds, let's pretend that the time has changed. Keep our clothes on the floor, open up champagne. Let's continue tonight, come on, celebrate. That's how we do. Sometimes you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house, play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my duck off the crib, the spot, the pad. But my house is your house if you throwing it back. Excuse me if my home draining is sad. Soon as these happy faces land, you can run with the cash. Home run, slam dunk, touchdown pass. Mi casa es tu casa, so it ain't no holding back. Another shot of vodka, you know what's in my glass. It's my house, just relax. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house, play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house. You heard me? We ain't gotta go out, cause what? Welcome to my house. It's my house, What? Welcome to my house. It's my house.
And welcome back here on the Atlanta Teen Sports Center. That was our first commercial break ever. So we're just seeing how that works out. If you guys like that or not, just let us know in the comment section. So yeah, as I said, the Hawks get the win on 123-116. And the Braves up in New York's in Citi Field tonight take the L to the Mets, just falling to 1-2 on the season. With the final score of 6-2, Matt Kemp hit 2 home runs. Wasn't enough for the Braves as they fall short 6-2. Another news around the sports is in the Mets minor league organization, Tim Tebow with his first ever at bat in the Double-A system for the Mets hits a home run over the fence. So congratulations to him.
And also the Braves signed Ryan Howard.
Yes, the Braves signed Ryan Howard to a minor league contract. See how that plans out for him. And do you guys want to? So you guys ready to get into upcoming games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so far for the NHL, scores around the league tonight. The Predators win over the Dallas Stars by a score of 7-3.
That's my favorite
And
team,
right
Predators.
now, in Denver, the Wild lead the Avalanche 3-2. with 11 minutes left in the third period. And in Arizona, the Canucks trailed the Arizona Coyotes 3-1 in the second period, and the Ducks lead the Blackhawks 1-0 in the second period. And after the end of the first period in Los Angeles, the Kings are tied with the Flames 1-1. And after the end of the first period, the Sharks lead the Oilers 1-0. And the Senators beat the Bruins in a shootout 2-1. The Penguins beat the Devils 7-4. The Islanders beat the Hurricanes 3-0. The Jets beat the Blue Jackets 5-4, and the Lightning beat the Maple Leafs 4-1, and the Blues beat the Panthers 6-3. What are your guys' thoughts on those scores?
Jordan?
Blowout.
Blowout?
Yeah, blowout. That's all I've heard. Blowout.
Well, Connor knows the most about hockey here, so
Yeah.
well, that's kind of the reason why we're silenced, guys. But Connor is a hockey fanatic. I used to be. I'm a ECHL fanatic, not an NHL fanatic, so forgive me. But yeah, moving on to the Hawks' upcoming games. Going back to the Hawks. Hawks have 2 games coming up in the 7th and the 9th. One at Cleveland, one at home in Phillips Arena. What are the Hawks' keys to being able to get those wins over LeBron and company? You got to be thinking that maybe they're sitting LeBron at home for that one because they pretty much clinched the Eastern Conference with another Boston loss. Jordan, your thoughts?
Cleveland is a very strong team, and it's definitely a team to look out for. And even though they have basically clinched this first spot with the loss with Celtics losing to the Hawks, they can still come out and they can still beat this Cleveland team. Like I was saying in the halftime show, it was a pre-show. They're not unbeatable, man. And no team is really unbeatable. And we should be able to beat these teams no matter what.
My thoughts are, they've had so many additions even this year. They added Andrew Bogut, Deron Williams, Kyle Korver, all these veteran players to help out this young team. And this team is like, all 15 of these players are committing and doing the work for the Cavs. And this is an all-around team. Even though LeBron and Kyrie could lead it, the other 12 are still putting in the work, and they're a great addition to the team. So, even with 3 shooting guards out there on the star shooting guards on the roster, they're still putting in the work. So, what do you think the keys are to win the game against the Cavs, Connor?
Well, I think you just have to contain LeBron James from getting into the paint and getting those boards. And I think Millsap has to play 100% as effort as he usually does and play with great power and be smart with the basketball and control Kyrie Irving and make sure he doesn't get loose and just step back and hit a 3. That's what the shooter has to look out for. And I think if you just play solid defense and get some good rebounds and play solid and hustle, I think they have a good chance of beating the Cavs.
My thoughts are, well, one thing to note about LeBron is I've noticed of him in the past and these days still that when he's up by a point or two with 25 seconds left in the game, he's bringing the ball up the court to make sure his team is secure. He always goes for the shot to clinch it. He never goes, when he's up by 1, he never goes in for a layup to keep the game interesting. He always goes for the 3 to put the game out of the reach. So, the Hawks need to make sure they don't get in a situation like that. They need to make sure if it comes down late in the game and it's a close game, they need to make sure they're on the leading side. Because if not, LeBron might be too hard for the Hawks to handle. Especially earlier this year, like I said, with all the additions that they've added even this year, one big shot could end up being the dagger for the Hawks. Moving on to the Charlotte Hornets on 92-9 the game night. The Hornets have beaten the Hawks, or lead the season series 3-0 against the Hawks this year. How are the Hawks able to bounce back and finally get a season win against them? Jordan?
all they really have to do, they have to think back, and they're just like, what did we do wrong, and what do we have to improve on against this Charlotte team? I mean, look at last year. We were able to beat them with flying colors. And then we look back this year, we can't beat them, but we can destroy, or we can go up by 20 against this Celtics team. Let's take something from that and put it into what we have to do against Charlotte and take what we did wrong and improve what we did wrong against Charlotte. That's just one of the things they have to think about when it comes to this Hornet team.
And Connor, your thoughts?
I think that you just got to stay healthy because I know from past games, players like Kent Bazemore, he's been out with a few injuries, having problems, as well as Millsaps. Recently, I think it's just they have some good players on their team who can really get open, make themselves easy, get in the paint, and get those easy shots to fall. And I think that the Hawks need to equalize up to that, and I think they'll have a good shot at winning.
And my thoughts, I pretty much agree with you guys. You guys pretty much covered everything. So the last game of the year, going up to Paul George and Jeff Teague, who the Hawks have had trouble with this year. They beat them. I think they beat them the first time in the first meeting. I forgot what happened the second, and we lost in the third game off an almost buzzer beater by somebody in the corner. I was watching the game. The Hawks were up by 6 with about a minute to go. Pacers go on a quick 7-0 run. My mom was at the game, and the Hawks pretty much lost the game. So what are your thoughts on how the Hawks are supposed to handle not losing in the last second? Jordan?
All the Hawks really have to do is just make sure they're not in foul trouble, and then make sure that they have a lead big enough to actually not have to keep playing as hard as you really need to. Tonight we gave up a pretty good lead, 20, and it should have been like an 18, 20-point victory for us. But when you think back to that Pacer game, you got to think, once again, what did we do wrong? We didn't play any defense at the end, and we just gave the ball up all the time. That's one of the things we have to think about when it comes to this Pacers team also.
You heard it there, Connor. Your thoughts?
I think it all starts with Jeff Teague, and because he was on the team just a year ago, and how he knows the game plan, and I think he can kind of control and add up to that and kind of get a way in for the Pacers to kind of win, or not necessarily that, but just to play well against the Hawks because he knows the defense, because he was right there at the front of the defense just a year ago up against who was the Pacers point guard last year? I forget his name.
George Hill. He's now on the Jazz.
Yeah, George Hill. That's right. And he had to face him last year, and I think because he took over the starting position. He has new plays, of course, but he knows the Hawks defense, like just freshly like out of the oven or whatever you want to call it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, say the last part again.
What's that?
Say the last part again. My thoughts on what?
What are your thoughts on how that the Hawks can control the Pacers?
Well, with the Pacers getting a new coach, I believe it was one of these few years that is still learning the game plan. The Hawks, with the Mike Budenholzer, Coach Bud, getting used to, is already settled into the Hawks after having a few years under his belt. The Hawks need to take control of this new of 3 or 4 new players that the Pacers have picked up in the offseason that are still new, or not as new, but as in October, but need to be able to take control of those players and use them to be able to lead themselves to victory, other than going up against Paul George the whole night and take Kent Bazemore and Taba Cephalosha and Tarion Prince and Mike Dunleavy, all the small forwards having to go up towards Paul George, expecting to drive by him every time. So those are my thoughts. Do you guys want to move on to the NHL standings and what we think talk a little bit about the playoffs before we wrap it up here?
I think. Oh, go ahead, Jordan.
You know what? I don't watch a lot of hockey, but like what I do, I want to see the right. And one thing that pops out about I think the finals right here. Listen, championship's gonna be the Rangers and the Nashville Predators. All right. And one thing I've seen from these two teams is when they're attacking, they're attacking strong, and that is one thing that really helps in this league of hockey now.
Yeah, and last night, the Capitals had a 2-0 win over the New York Rangers and have clinched the President's Trophy for the second straight year. What are your thoughts on that, Blake?
Who clinched the President's Trophy? I missed it. What?
The Washington Capitals.
Well, I know they had a pretty good year last year, didn't it?
Yeah, they clinched it last year too. This is the second straight year.
As Jordan said, I don't really watch as much hockey as when the Thrashers were here. I was really little too, but I've never really gotten into following the NHL fully. I just watched the Stanley Cup, so I really don't know much about the President's Cup. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, it's a trophy for, having, the best record in the NHL. It's kind of like the Supporters Shield for MLS. If you've heard that, it's basically that, except for NHL.
And so I'm guessing the Capitals are a pretty young team, right?
What's that again? I'm sorry?
I'm guessing the Capitals are a pretty young team, correct?
Yes, they are. They're number one in the NHL currently.
So I would say with the young team that they have and winning all these trophies for best record and players and hopefully championships to come, this team could end up being a dynasty. So let's hope to see the best. But we're about running out of time here. It's getting late here in Atlanta. So thank you guys for listening to the Atlanta Teen Sports Center. We will have more shows coverage this weekend and tomorrow on Friday. So thank you guys for listening again. This is the Atlanta Teen Sports Center, and we'll see you next time. Go Braves, unite and conquer. Let's go Hawks, and rise up.